Okay, so have you ever wondered, like, what makes someone entrepreneurial? Even if they aren't, like, out there starting a million businesses, what is that certain something? Well, get this, it's actually a pretty controversial topic. Who knew, right?
Yeah, you're telling me. For the longest time, it was all about companies, right?
And-
like companies being entrepreneurial, their cultures, strategies, all that. But then some researchers were like, hold on a minute. Doesn't that come from the people inside the company?
It's true. We're looking at 2 research papers today that are all about this. They call it Individual Entrepreneurial Orientation, or INEO.
Get you.
Right.
Right. And this is where it gets interesting. It's like saying, oh, look at that fish. It's so swimmy. But like the water is what makes it swimmy, right?
Okay, I see what you mean.
So some researchers were like, you can't just describe a person based on the company they happen to be at.
Right, like I'm only productive because my office has good coffee, not because of me.
Exactly. And that's where this whole idea of, get this, a family of constructs comes in. It sounds complicated, but it's basically like genetics. Companies, they don't just magically become entrepreneurial. It comes from the people in them, their beliefs, their drive. All of that gets woven into the company's, I guess, DNA.
Okay, so it's not just the environment, it's something deeper in the person. I'm hooked already.
And there's a lot of research to back it up. One paper actually looked back at, get this, over 30 years of research and found at least 14 different ways people tried to measure individual entrepreneurial traits.
Wow, 14, were they even on the same page?
That's the thing. Imagine trying to study, like, athleticism, but no one can agree on what makes someone athletic. Are we talking marathon runners or, like, weightlifters? Totally different. It's crucial to know what you're even looking at. That's where this whole INDO thing comes in.
So INDO is kind of like saying, let's focus on the athlete themselves, not just the sport they're playing.
You got it. It's about understanding the individual's potential.
Okay, so we're really getting into the nitty-gritty here, the entrepreneur DNA, the stuff you don't get from a textbook.
Right. This is like the human element of it all.
Love it. So what are these, like, 5 core dimensions? Hit me with it.
All right, so picture this. You walk into a room, and there's that one person, right? They just radiate this independent energy, not afraid to take charge, a real go-getter.
Ooh, I know the type.
That's our first dimension, autonomy.
The my way or the highway type. Just kidding. But seriously, it's more nuanced than that, right? It's not just being bossy.
Not at all. It's deeper. It's that inner drive to create your own path. Maybe that leads to starting a business,
Yeah.
but it could also be how you approach a hobby, how you handle a tough project at work. It's about owning your choices.
Okay, I'm into it. Autonomy, check. What's next on our entrepreneurial greatest hits list?
Number 2, we've got proactiveness. These are the folks who don't just talk about it, they do it. Remember that phrase from the research, beating competitors to the punch?
Oh yeah, that one got me pumped. It's like early bird gets the worm, but with like a triple shot of espresso.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
that ability to see an opportunity and just go for it before anyone else.
That's so funny because it reminds me of this one friend. She's always on to the next thing, new projects, new groups, like 10 steps ahead of everyone.
We all need a friend like that, right? They push us.
Yeah.
But it shows that it's not just about business. It's how some people just move through the world.
All right, loving it. So we've got autonomy, proactiveness. 2 down, 3 to go.
Next up, get ready for it. Innovativeness. Think about that friend who always has the most clever solutions for everything.
Oh, you mean the one who could fix anything with like a paper clip and some duct tape?
Exactly. It's that knack for thinking outside the box. They challenge the way things are done and come up with totally new, better ways of doing them. Doesn't have to be a gadget or anything.
Yeah, I get it. Like it's a mindset.
Exactly. Whether it's making a process at work smoother, finding a shortcut on your commute, or, fixing that leaky faucet, it's about those aha moments.
Okay, yes. And sometimes those aha moments, they only happen if you're a little bit competitive, right?
Competitiveness, our 4th dimension. You're reading my mind.
Okay, but now I'm thinking like really intense CEOs,
Yeah.
But it's not always about like crushing the competition, right?
Right. Think of it more like this drive to be your best self, to constantly improve. And it's interesting that researchers really went back and forth on this one. They wondered if it should be called competitive aggressiveness.
Ooh, even more intense.
Right. But then they realized how we compete, it's different for everyone. Personalities, cultural backgrounds, it all plays a role.
Okay, that makes sense. So less about winning at all costs, more about like that fire in your belly to be amazing.
Exactly. And finally, we have the trait that often gets the most attention, risk-taking.
Okay, so not talking about jumping out of planes here.
Unless that's your thing. But no, this dimension is about calculated risks. It's being willing to get out of your comfort zone when there's a good chance the payoff will be worth it.
So it's more like having that big picture vision, trusting your gut.
Absolutely. Being okay with uncertainty, knowing that even if you don't succeed, you learn something. It's all part of the journey.
Okay, I think I'm getting it. Like autonomy, proactiveness, all of that, they're like puzzle pieces, right? And they kind of build this picture of what makes someone entrepreneurial. But like, it's more than just a personality test, right? How do we actually use this stuff in real life?
That's the best part. It's all about self-awareness. Like, once you recognize these traits in yourself, things can really change. Let's say you're, big on autonomy, like we talked about.
Oh, yeah, that's me for sure. I always get a little, I don't know, antsy when someone tries to tell me exactly how to do something.
Exactly. So knowing that about yourself, think about it. Does a typical 9-to-5, where you're told what to do every second, sound that great?
No, not really.
Probably not. But maybe freelancing, where you're your own boss, or even, taking the lead on a new project at your current job, something where you have some freedom.
Yeah.
That might be more your style.
Oh, wow, I see what you're saying. It's like knowing your strengths and then finding the right place to use them.
Exactly. Or let's say you're super high in proactiveness. You're not going to be happy just waiting for instructions, are you?
Not at all.
You'd thrive in a place that wants you to take initiative, make decisions.
So it's not about changing who you are. It's about like understanding why you do things the way you do. And then, I guess, making choices that feel right for you.
Exactly. And remember, this isn't all about starting a business. You could be an artist, a teacher, anything. Imagine a teacher who's got that innovativeness, right? They're going to find creative ways to get their students engaged.
Or even just like a stay-at-home parent. They could use proactiveness to, build a whole community for other parents.
Exactly. It's about how you approach life, no matter what you do. And that's what's so cool about this whole NDO thing. It shows us that we all have these unique strengths. And when we really get those strengths, well, that's how we reach our full potential, right?
Yeah, totally. Okay, last question before we wrap things up. The research talked about cultural differences with NDO. What's up with that?
Isn't that fascinating? Like, what we think of as entrepreneurial, it's not the same everywhere. Different parts of the world, different values. In some cultures, maybe it's about, a family business passed down through generations.
And in others, it could be about using business to, solve problems in their community.
Yeah.
Social entrepreneurship, right?
Exactly.
So there's this whole other layer of, figuring yourself out. How your culture, your background, how it all plays into your entrepreneurial spirit. I'm definitely going to be thinking about that.
Me too. It reminds us that it's not one size fits all. It's all connected. Our individual traits, our experiences, all of it.
Wow, so much to unpack. Huge thanks to you as expert speaker's name. This is awesome. And to everyone listening, thanks for joining us for another deep dive. We hope you learned something new about yourself today, about what makes you tick. And hey, maybe even found a little inspiration to embrace that entrepreneurial spirit however it shows up for you. Until next time, keep on exploring.